Before Del Toro ever started working on his 20-year passion project Frankenstein, there was another. Iconic creature and set designs, incredible acting, quotables and much more, this film has lasted nearly 100 years for a reason. So what can this freaky fishman learn from the original Universal monster classic? Firstly, a bit of backstory. Released in 1931, Frankenstein was the second film in the Universal monster franchise. You know, that little franchise that had a couple of iconic characters here and there? Basically, Universal Studios were financially in the pits until the release of the first Universal monster film, Dracula, in 1930. It was a runaway success, so they decided they wanted to make some more horror films. Filming took place from August 24th to October 3rd, 1931, with a final budget of approximately $291,000. Directed by James Whale and starring Boris Karloff as the monster, when this film was released it was both a critical and commercial success, grossing $12 million, which, when adjusted for inflation, is $482.9 million. Its legacy cannot be understated, establishing many horror conventions, building the Universal monster franchise, and since its release there has been about 190 Frankenstein films. Which leads us to present day, with Del Toro's trailer making me feel all sorts of excitement. This is the film he's been trying to make for over 20 years, and you can see every ounce of passion and love in this trailer alone. But here are the things I hope he takes from the 1931 classic. Number 1. Classic creature design. Now, I'm not saying I want Jacob Elordi to look like Boris Karloff. I don't think it would actually work in the modern context. Plus, if you're doing a remake, you really should be putting your own spin on the source material, rather than making something derivative. But with that said, for a character as classic and recognisable as the monster, extra love and care will have to be made to make sure it's a special looking design. It's crazy to think that nearly 100 years later, every person knows what the monster looks like. How many remakes there've been, merchandise, Halloween costumes, these all only exist because of this film. The look of Frankenstein was crafted in collaboration with makeup artist Jack Pierce and Karloff. Pierce studied anatomy, burial customs, criminology, and surgery to create the look. Director Whale suggested the neck bolts, and Karloff came up with the droopy eyelids and the skeletal cheekbones. The makeup was a mix of cotton, spirit gum, and layers of makeup blended into prosthetics and padding to reshape Karloff's face to look like the creature. It reportedly took 3 to 4 hours to apply the makeup and 1 to 2 hours to remove it. Number 2. Brutal scenes. Now this one feels like a given, because the best way I can describe the trailer is feeling metal. But there's one scene from the original that is still as brutal today as it was back in 1930. I'm talking about the scene where the monster comes across the young girl. They play a game together, putting flowers into the water, and she shows him kindness. The monster in return seems docile, being gentle and caring for his newfound friendship. That is until the monster fucking yeets this girl straight into the water, drowning her. I can't begin to tell you when I first saw this scene the sense of dread I felt when he approached, but as I was watching it with my then housemate, I remember telling her, it's the 1930s, they wouldn't hurt a child. They wouldn't hurt a child. They couldn't. The gut punch is further exacerbated by her father walking her body through the town in an absolute harrowing scene. Like, my God, you did not need to go this hard. Personally, I'm hoping Del Toro doesn't hold back. Man, woman or child, I'm praying no one is safe. Number 3. The acting. The original film's acting is honestly incredible. Sometimes watching these older films, the acting doesn't always translate to a modern audience because it's a lot more theatrical, a lot more theatre based, but it's just not the case with this film. Karloff as the monster absolutely eats up this role and leaves absolutely no crumbs. I love when he's first reanimated to life, how you can see him learning about his body and what it's capable of. You also really get a sense of innocence as he starts discovering the world. It's genuinely heartbreaking when they open up the roof and he sees light for the first time, reaching out to grab it. Not to mention the sympathy you feel for him as he gets mistreated, his anger, he gets all of this across. Honestly, the amount of range you get from him with 0 lines is an incredible feat. The other 2 performances I want to shout out is Dr. Frankenstein himself, played by Colin Clive, who does a great job showing his descent into madness. He also gets the most replayed and iconic line in the film.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Also, shout out to the Baron, whose awesome comedic timing. This man is an absolute savage, not caring about anyone around him. Honestly, we could all learn from the Baron. Number 4, set design and cinematography. Another thing this film does incredibly well is how it sets up the world. The cinematography is beautiful, and I love its use of shadows in the wide shots. It makes the castle look incredibly eerie and gothic, while also making the room feel super sparse and depressing, really adding to the emotional weight when the monster is alone or getting tortured by Fritz. Watching Del Toro's trailer, you can really see the inspiration he takes from this film's set design, and I'm specifically speaking about the laboratory scene. The apparatuses, the use of electricity as it kickstarts the monster, Apparently in 1931 they used real electric, high voltage sparks to make that effect. Now I doubt Ock Health and Safety was the same back then as it is now, so the fact no one died that we know of, bravo. Also absolutely love the final windmill scene. Having such a large jaw-dropping set piece to finish off is really cool, even if they don't have the special effects to throw people down tall structures just yet. And finally, number 5. Passion. The final thing I hope Del Toro takes from the original masterpiece is passion. Now this entry feels like I'm cheating a little bit because this is the film he's wanted to make his entire career. Frankenstein was his favourite story growing up, and you can see this through his entire filmography with his obsession with showing the humanity behind monsters. Without Mary Shelley's book, I doubt we get A Shape of Water or Pan's Labyrinth. In 2008, Del Toro's original plan was to make a 4-part mini-series on Frankenstein, but later that fell through as other projects got in the way. That was before this film was greenlit by Netflix in 2023. Now after all this waiting and hoping, production is wrapped and we now have an official trailer. Now, I've got a quick message for Del Toro. I know you're listening and a big fan of the channel. Firstly, I want to say thank you. Thank you for sticking to your guns and seeing this passion project through. Thank you for tackling an incredibly iconic story. Thank you for keeping Frankenstein alive, or maybe dead. Anyways, not much more I can say about this film. An absolute classic for a reason, sets up and builds an iconic character and world for nearly 100 years, and a film I plan on watching again and again. And hopefully in 100 years, we can say the same about Del Toro's version. Anyways, cheers, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the original Frankenstein, and if there's any other films you want me to review, and yeah, bye.